So I was hoping as you could run us back to the earliest Fel that you could remember being and tell us a lot about what it sounded like to be you when you were growing up before you had any control over the musical choices that you listened to.
Yeah. So I think the earliest I can remember is my parents. The earliest I can remember is I was sitting. I think it might have been like first, second, third grade, and we got this flyer for a choir for the Golden Gate Boys Choir for auditions, and I gave it to my mom. I remember this, and then they took me to the choir to audition because it was like one of those choirs where you had to audition to be in.
Right.
And yeah, I auditioned because I guess since before that's like my earliest memory, but before then I guess I was singing a lot and stuff like that. So they were like, "Oh, he can sing. Let's send him to his choir." And then yeah, from there I got accepted into the choir, and it was pretty much like a music school for the youth. So we learned, how to read, write music, how to play the piano, how to sing, and like, you had to be good. Like you had to compete and test to stay in the choir. So it was like a pretty hardcore music school where they're just slaving the kids to sing. And we would go, yeah, we would like choir practice twice a week. And then I think it was twice a month we'd go sing at weddings and stuff like that. But that's like the earliest I can remember is when my parents like forced me into that choir. It
Like
was
what?
like, here, do music.
So I definitely want to know more about this choir because that's fire to like think about as a concept. First of all, whoever owned that choir made hella bank at these weddings. That's all I'm saying. Like, what
Yeah.
a fucking
Off of
business.
the children. I'm like,
Um,
dude,
and then also
we got nothing.
to make it basically like reality TV at the same time,
Yeah.
right? Like that's basically some fucking game show you can't film where you have kids like singing like
Yeah.
who's the best competitor and
Yeah.
kind of and that's wild. And what kind of stuff did you have to sing? Was it like wedding classics or like what kinds of songs were?
Um yeah, so it was stuff like Ave Maria and like church music. I can't really remember a lot of what we sung, but I know it was a lot of church music and like mass singing because we would go to churches and sing at the churches for mass and stuff like that. So it was a lot of that type
Mm,
of music.
that's
It
fair.
was pretty intense. I looked them up. They're still around, but yeah, they were making a lot of money off of us.
That's a wild thought. What kind of music did your parents like?
So frankly, my dad like mostly listens to classical and then talk radio. That was about it. And then my mom was listening to more of the modern 90s 2000 type rock and pop type music and love ballads. So yeah,
So music
that's
was it?
kind of what the music goes around me.
So in your like case, it wasn't like your parents were like super into music or they just had it around. They just kind of pushed you into music and it
Yeah.
became your obsession due to the fact that like you went through, the survivor of music choirs back in the day. And
Yeah, and also they were paying a lot of money to put me into this choir, which is like, dude, this this choir is making bank. But yeah, like so they were really supportive of what I wanted to do, and so I enjoyed doing it. And I think I did that all the way up until like we just moved to Nevada. I was in that choir for a long time.
that's really crazy, like to think about. But like the more interesting part for makes it like relevant to your story is that like from a really early age, what 6, 7, 8, like that era, you're
Mm,
already performing, but not just performing. You're like doing it with other people in a context
yeah,
that is super monetizable. Whether or
yeah,
not you monetized it, you're still getting the experience in the industry to draw back from it and see that it exists. And all, like that's a wild start off this. So you're like musical career is basically your whole life.
pretty much. Yeah.